spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News: Trump enters the 2020 election cycle with a massive fundraising lead over Democrats that President Trump's campaign and affiliated committees raised more than $21 million in the final 3 months of 2018, entering the presidential election cycle with a massive head start just as a wide-open Democratic field begins to take shape. The latest fundraising disclosures bring the total haul for Trump's re-election effort to more than $129 million, a record amount for a sitting president at this point in the election cycle. The campaign had, meanwhile, as many as 24 Democratic candidates may vie for the party's nomination in what is expected to be a bruising and expensive primary battle. These candidates, for example, the Senate Campaign Committee of Senior Elizabeth Warren. Trump's enormous haul in the fourth quarter came even as the president's party lost its majority in the House during the midterm elections, and as Trump's demand for a wall at the U.S.-Mexico border led to a partial shutdown of the federal government and sagging presidential approval ratings. Trump continued to be buoyed by an avid small donor base. Nearly 70. This is a true testament to President Trump's fulfillment of his promises made to the forgotten men and women of America, Michael Glassner, Chief Operating Officer for the campaign, said in a statement. Trump's business is drawing a steady stream of revenue from his campaign activities. The Trump Campaign Committee's legal fees declined after a surge in such payments in the previous quarter. In the final 3, the fund set up to help pay legal expenses incurred by aides to Trump drawn into the Russia investigation raised $500,000 in the final quarter of 2018, knew all of it coming on October 1 from casino mogul Sheldon Adelson and his physician wife, Miriam, according to documents filed with the Internal Revenue Service. The Adelsons for the campaign spent more money in the final quarter of 2018 than it took it. Its spending spiked. The Trump campaign owes $1 million in travel expenses to the U.S. Treasury, filings show, likely for the use of government resources as the president traveled to hold midterm rallies. In addition to the Trump campaign and affiliated fundraising committees, the RNC continued to show its financial strength, entering 2019 with $23.5 million in its coffers. And the pro-Trump America First Operation U.S. Super PAC and an affiliated non-profit who raised more than $75 million in the 2018 cycle in its effort to boost Trump's policies and allies in Congress, a spokeswoman said Thursday. Unlike his predecessors, who waited until after the midterms to raise money for their re-election campaigns, Trump began raising money for 2020 shortly after winning the presidency. Still, after a battle over the border wall, his signature campaign promise, aimed at curbing illegal immigration, that led to the longest shutdown in the country's history, there are signs of danger for Trump's re-election hopes. A 56% majority of all Americans say they would definitely not vote for Trump should he become the nominee, according to a. Some Republicans have hinted they may challenge Trump in the party primaries. And nearly 1 in 3. Amid these threats, the RNC last week unanimously voted for a resolution of undivided support for Trump and his presidency. President Trump and Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel's record-breaking fundraising has put us in an unprecedented position for 2020, RNC spokeswoman Cassie Smedal said. The RNC's Trump continues to draw a significant amount of money from his small dollar donor base, including from supporters giving $5 at a time in response to online donation requests or purchasing Make America Great Again gear. These supporters injected millions into Trump's campaign and affiliated fundraising committees in the final 3 months of 2018, the campaign said, responding in part to fundraising appeals timed around the November elections, the recount in Florida in which Trump's ally Ron DeSantis prevailed in his bid for governor, and Trump's burgeoning fight with Democrats over funding for a border wall, which bled into the beginning of 2019. I promised you that the forgotten men and women of this great country would be forgotten no more and that I would never stop fighting for you. Read an email sent December 8, 21. Today, the next day, the federal government entered a partial shutdown and remained closed for 35 days.
Raindrop, drip, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.